Hello and welcome to another fun-filled edition of Adam's Music Box. Now, a lot of people look at the bossa nova craze as that unique moment in history when Brazilian music conquered the world. People like João Gilberto, Ernesto Gilberto, Antonio Carlos Jobim. Again, my Portuguese isn't the best, but I thought that sort of Portuguese was Family Guy fans will know what I'm talking about. But the 70s was also a great time for Brazilian music that crossed over into the US and other markets. You had people like Hermeto Pascoal, but you also had someone like Umir Deodato, who was just known as Deodato. And his records in the 70s were the quintessential of cool. He, of course, came out in the 60s during that bossa nova craze, but by the 70s, he had developed a very interesting type of fusion that melded American style jazz fusion, traditional American jazz, Brazilian music, bossa nova, classical music, funk music. And while some of the albums were classed as easy listening, mainly because of the production style and the arrangement, there was some really cool stuff that was going on. The album Prelude on CTI Records was really that golden 70s era of Deodato. It starts off with his version of Strauss's Also sprach Zarathustra, and then Deodato 2, the album pictured behind me, has a very interesting take on Nights in White Satin by the Moody Blues, Pavon for a Dead Princess by Ravel, Rhapsody in Blue with his own take is on there. All really interesting stuff. And there were so many great Brazilian artists, including on CTI Records at the time. Arturo Moreira. Again, my pronunciations aren't great, but he was a wonderful percussionist. I've done videos on him, who was also on CTI Records at the time. And of course, he and Deodato, as stablemates, as it were, on the same record label, did a lot of collabs. So check out Deodato's stuff. Let's start with the CTI stuff, but all of the stuff he was doing in the 70s, because it really was like a second Brazilian invasion of the record charts, at least the jazz funk infusion record charts. As always, like, subscribe, and we'll see you next time. Take care.